All right. So, Chris,
Richard,
you've been here how long?
about 3 months.
Okay. So, that's a very short time. But in those 3 months, and not coming from the industry, what do you think, where do you see the greatest opportunities for our retailers? Like just coming in from the outside and not knowing anything at all, what do you think the greatest, what do you see as the greatest opportunity from what you've learned? And
I think the biggest opportunity for growth, especially, is everything e-commerce, online, really utilizing it, because it seems like everything for our platform and everything that we're doing to work on our platform is geared towards engaging people online. And I feel like that's the biggest opportunity right now, is to get people to buy into the entire ecosystem and really just engage with their customers outside of the brick and mortar location.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Why do you think that's such a challenge for retailers?
I would say it's just like anything. It's like, if you're used to doing something a particular way, and it can be a little bit harder to change and do something different. I think it may be out of some people's comfort zone, some of our customers' comfort zones, but I think maybe that's why it'd be a little bit difficult. So
Yeah. And I think I think the average retailer gets intimidated by they see sites like Wayfair, you hear about Amazon every nanosecond. There's something about Amazon and developments there. And I think it's very intimidating to jump in those waters without having any familiarity with it. So, but you have to start somewhere. That's the thing.
Right.
If you don't do anything, then nothing will happen.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. If you're not proactively at least trying to do something or even testing something, then you're never going to get a result. So you may as well at least jump into it at some point in time.
Yeah.
So.
But it's a lot harder. When I started 20 years ago, you could have first mover advantage because there's nobody else in there. Now it has gotten a lot more sophisticated, and for people starting out, I think the most important thing is that they keep really ultra focused on one particular goal. It might be driving people to fill out a contact us form. It might be trying to generate quotes on a particular piece of furniture or something. But you need to stay really, really focused on what you're doing.
Right. Yeah, and I would say, even just going back to it, you don't want to do nothing, but then again, if you spread yourself too thin, then you're not going to be able to measure results well, you're not going to even see the results if you're not putting your efforts into something that's going to return well. So.
Yep. Well, so that brings us to the beginning of this Facebook Live. Today's whiteboard workshop is the importance of local listings. I'm Richard Sexton, Chief Product Officer.
Chris Woodruff, Digital Marketing Specialist.
So the reason why we're talking about this is it is so supremely important in terms of your overall engagement, not just digitally, but with your in-store customers, because local listings is one way that you drive traffic into your store. So in the context of having visibility on search engines and online marketplaces and anywhere online, it's really important that your local listings are preeminent, because the amount of available real estate for organic search results has really shrunk over the last couple of years. And so that space that's available is really taken up by one of two or three things. And I'm talking about Google search result pages. The first is paid search results, which anybody can get there. You just have to be willing to write a big enough check or pay a certain amount per click. And it has gotten very, very high, particularly in our industry. The second is that the results are also taken up by featured snippets, and featured snippets can appear as sometimes an answer card or knowledge card. It's called different things, but that's if you ask the question. You might say, how do I boil an egg? Try that, and you'll see there's a featured snippet that will appear, and it'll give you step-by-step instructions on how to boil an egg. That takes up a lot of real estate, and the organic, the non-paid listings appear lower. But the other thing is the map pack. The map pack is that search result that shows all the local listings featured with a Google map, and then the store's information, and there are only 3 listings per map pack that appear on local listing results. Anytime your query is a location-based inquiry that results in, that could conceivably be answered by a geographic question, a map pack is going to appear. The map pack will not appear if the featured snippet appears, and vice versa. It's one or the other. Or you'll just get paid listings and organic. But most of the time, Google wants to serve you one or the other because that's how they are being useful. So it's really, really important that your local listing appears in that map pack if someone's searching for furniture, for example, in your geographic area. Because there are only 3 listings, and that map pack generally gets about half of all the clicks on that search results page. And the top listing in that map pack gets the overwhelming majority of those clicks. So if you're in the #1 position for a query that says, find a sofa, or I want to buy a sofa near me, and Google will auto-complete that. It'll put the near me in there. If you just try typing in, I want to find a oil change, and it will put in near me. Anytime it thinks it's a geographic-based inquiry, it's going to auto-complete it with near me and kick in that map pack search result. But that first listing on the map pack is going to generate the most traffic by far. So it's really, really important that you have some kind of visibility on that search result. And Chris is going to talk a little bit more about what it takes to get on that page and the different elements of it.
Thank you. And so yeah, one of the other things going into the map pack results, and one of the big influencers on that is the NAP, which is what we talked about. That's name, address, phone number. And the 3 of those things going into local listings are incredibly important. There's a few ways actually to touch on that first that gets pulled in and indexed by Google. So that can come from your website, that can come from your local listings themselves. They can also come from structured data in your website, directory sites online like Yext. They can also come from social as well. So those all are going to come together with your basic information, and that's what search engines are really going to take into account when serving local data. So I think those in combination with local listings, what we're talking about today, are hugely important for local query results. And I think the one of the influencers going into all those is that if you have all of your information filled out, it's consistent across all of them. That's a huge influencer on showing up high in the map pack. But also something that we saw recently, that was from an example, and his name was Phil Frost. So this was an example of using press releases to generate traffic. And that was an interesting thing, that is Google's changing their algorithm, changing how they serve map pack results. They're consistently adding new things that are either going to limit or take into account of how they're actually going to be showing map pack results. And using press releases was a good way of driving, that result a little bit higher. Another thing too was that with that press release, you're including your name, address, phone number in there. So it's something that's more places you have that, the more consistent it is, the better results you're going to get for showing up. Another thing too, actually, that we talked about with Podium. Podium is a huge influencer, and I think it's something that we've heard that's going to be more and more influential in serving map pack results. Is that your local reviews, what customers are saying about that local store, are going to be a huge influence on where you show that map pack. So I think there's a lot of different areas where it's going to be changing and influencing, but I would say those are sort of the highest ones so far.
Yeah. So if you want to think about priorities of how to get listed on that search result, the number of reviews is certainly a big part of it. So if you look at the stores that are served up in that map pack, typically the one with the most reviews will probably show up first.
Right.
Of course, it's also location. If there's a store that's half a mile down the road, they're going to appear first because they are closest. But all other things being equal, it will be the number of reviews, the consistency, as Chris said about the name, area, and phone number, the local citation. That's really important. And it even gets down to like punctuation, whether you say Ave or Avenue or something like that. That stuff all counts. And then the amount of content on your local listing. So you really want to encourage, if you've got a place where you've got user-generated content, where customers can submit photos, where they can submit other information about your store. Anything that builds that local listing on Google My Business is really going to help you. The other thing I wanted to mention is that as a retailer, you're probably listed in a lot of your manufacturers' referrals for finding stores close to customer zip codes. So you really want to make sure that, number one, you've got your listing in your manufacturer's site, and that it may have a link to your site or may not. You know, they all have different policies, but that's really important. Number two is that the name and the area, the address and the phone number are all consistent, so that it's matching what you have in the local listings.
Right.
That's really super important. That goes a long ways in terms of building that consistency and robustness of your address.
Right. And actually, going on something you said earlier, you know, when somebody's searching for something, it doesn't always have to be a near-me search. With 60% of traffic coming from mobile phones, location services are activated on those phones. So if somebody's searching for something on mobile, typically Google's going to serve back a result of something that's close. They'll include map pack in that, and a lot of people are searching directly from maps on their phone to find a store in particular. They can search for a category, and Google's going to serve up those results from there. So another thing is making sure that you know, you understand that search results are coming from mobile, and that's why this has such a huge influence on serving, you know, on how a business gets found on Google for local, because, you know, as they're serving these up more and more, making sure that this name, address, phone number, local listings, consistency across all these is going to be a huge influence on whether you show up at all, but also just how you show up in the results. Like you said, there's a lot of different factors that are going to go into how you're served up, but it does take time. It does take a lot of effort, but it's worth it to show up for a local result. So,
Right. It's I was at a conference and I heard there was a head of digital for Home Depot, and she said every search is a local search, and that's really, you know, you think about it, that's 99% true.
Yeah.
And so it's really important that you beef up that local listing and do everything you can to be visible, because with the use of mobile and with the map pack and all these other dynamics coming into play, it's really important that you're there.
Right.
So. All right. Well, thank you very much. I don't think we have any questions, so please remember to follow the links and sign up for further whiteboard workshops. This was the importance of local listings, and we appreciate you participating. Have a great day.
Thank you.